we clearly, I think it's evident at this point right now, we clearly overhyped his first 3 games of the Utah series. He's always been a good player, but that's where it was. He was a good player. He's not a number 2. And now he may be that number 2, but he can't be here. He needs the ball in his hand more than he has it now if he wants to be that $25, $30 million value. And he's not going to have that with Luka, and he shouldn't have that with Luka. So that's where we are. He's a guy that's probably on the wrong team to be able to fully hit his potential.
Are you watching these first 2 games at all and saying, they're not using him correctly, they're not working him in right? I haven't felt that whatsoever.
What do you want them to do? Take the ball to Luka's hands? That was the problem we talked about when he comes back. Like, he's not going to be able to be the same guy.
Yeah.
He was never going to be able to be the same guy he was in games 1 and 2 and 3 in Utah.
But he shouldn't be 11-point-a-game guy.
No, he shouldn't. But
that's what he is in this series.
Yeah, but I guess the other side is that, the further you go in the playoffs, the better the teams get, the better the defenses theoretically would get, the more the ball goes into the hands of your top guy, the less it goes in the hands of everybody else. And I fully expect him in games 3 and 4 to have much better games. He's a role player. What do role players do in the playoffs? They play better at home.
Okay, but he's a role player.
Of course he is. To say he's not a role player, we were just looking at games 1, 2, 3 of the previous series when he had to be the number 1 guy.
Absolutely right. He got overhyped.
Of course.
He got overhyped. I said this. You can't overreact to one series and pay him $30 million, like Bassick said he was willing to do.
That's why you let somebody else do it, and you find another one in the draft. Now, he's a wonderful player. Like, you're not going to find many guys that have his background, his pedigree of success in college. Wasn't he the National Player of the Year, for crying out loud? Like the guy's tremendous. But does he fit here? And you've got to make those decisions as an organization. Does he fit?
I mean, he can fit, but he's limited.
He's limited because you have the ball in somebody else's hands.
And he's 6'1".
Yeah.
Okay? Like, I know it's a different league and everything, but if I'm evaluating him and trying to figure out if I want to pay him, if I'm Detroit and New York, I got to look around the rest of the league, and I don't know this. Bassick would probably know it. I got to ask, the defensive challenges that Jalen is facing in this series, how much are we going to see that from the other teams in the entire league? Because if we're not going to see it, right, and you have Bridges and Crowder and Booker and Paul and guys that they can throw at Jalen Brunson to defend him, if you're not going to get a lot of that, and this is a rare matchup, pay him. Go ahead and pay him. But if you're going to sit there and say length is his kryptonite and he's not a great 3-point shooter at 6'1", you're going to have to tell me he's going to create space and hit all those little 3-foot shots wide open like the Utah Jazz gave him. And I wouldn't pay $25 million for that. He during the regular season, he was 16, 5, and 4. Very good. Very good numbers. But people turned him into a star. And people turned him into a $25 or $30 million player, and it was overhyped. It just flat out was. I'm sorry, you may not want to hear. You may get mad at me, but I'm trying to stop the Mavericks front office from overpaying for someone who cannot be a number 2 on a championship contender. That's just the facts.
Truckwreck.com text line. If Brunson can't be a number 2 because he doesn't get the ball, then who would be a good number 2? Look, the problem is that Brunson needs the ball in his hands to be effective.
And any number 2 is going to.
Any number 2 is going to, but his game is breaking you down on the dribble.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's like if they had Joker here, like Luka would dump the ball into him. That's different.
Right.
This is he has to have the ball in his hands on the perimeter, kind of like Luka does when he's got it, with inside 10 seconds on the shot clock, get a little drive in, get a pull up, whatever. Would you let Brunson leave in free agency or sign him and try to trade him for guys that'd be a better fit for Luka? I mean, look, I don't know. I don't think signing him, he's going to get more money from somebody else than the Mavericks should be willing to give him, I think.
I don't know. I have no idea what this team's going to do front office wise. Sharif, it still doesn't make sense how you can fall off a cliff like this. Look, what happened in round one, number one, Luka was, here are the contributing factors. Luka was out. So Brunson was elevated to star status in terms of need. We needed him. We're going to rely on him. So Luka being out, number one. Number two, Utah's defense sucked. They allowed record numbers for wide open three-point attempts, and I was having fun with it, joking. Brunson Iverson, I tweeted it out like twice during this series. Donovan Mitchell is a horrible defender, and Jalen just blew by anyone. And that also, the third factor, that increased his confidence to be through the roof. The way Chris Paul was playing last night to start that fourth quarter, that was Jalen Brunson in the Utah series. You could see it in his body language. He don't got that confidence right now against these boys. He don't got that confidence against this defense. And his number of contested shots is up through the roof. I wish I could look up a contested shot percentage of the Phoenix series versus the Utah series. And again,
I'm sure we can.
You may think that you may not want to overreact to this matchup with the number of guys Phoenix can throw at him. Again, I don't know the defensive personnel around the NBA in terms of the length to be able to speak on it this confidently. But if this is a rare length and depth matchup, then Jalen Brunson can go and get still his $20 million with the Mavericks or someone else. But the Utah series was his one shining moment. And now the value, I would think, is dropping back down.
Yeah, I would think so too. And here come the homers, the haters.
Yep, bring it.
Shan was leading the hype train after the first games in Utah. He could stay because Luka could leave, right?
But I was leading the. I was never leading the hype train. I said that the Mavs were playing above their heads.
Yeah, not hype train. I'm paying them.
Like Jalen was. Look, they have 80 regular season games for a reason.
Yeah, they do.
You can't just judge it off 5 games. You got to judge it off 85 games. And he was a 16-point a game scorer, not 28. And if you thought he was going to be a 28-point scorer, then that's on you.
More people. So now the morning show wants to slow down the Brinks truck for Brunson. 105 through the fan overpays you two cowards. I'm sorry if we're like glorified interns here.
You know the biggest mistake I made. I never should have rescinded my Mavs bet. I should have taken. I should have taken all this money. I was being nice. I decided to take it easy on your bank account. My Western Conference Finals bet, and I should have never rescinded it and kept it. I bet I could still make the same amount of money from those texting with the Mavs down 0-2. I bet I could get 10 people to bet me $100 each that the Mavs still win the series.
Yep. Brunson is a number 3 or a perfect 6th man. Okay,
I agree.
The size shouldn't matter. Morant and Chris Paul are about the same size as him. Brunson made and lost.
Is Jalen Brunson a passer and a creator like Chris Paul? No, he's not.
No, he's
John Morant's
a high flyer.
He's a freak. I've said it doesn't make any sense that John Morant is flying through the air like this at 6'3". He's a freak, but Jalen Brunson is not an athletic freak.
No, Brunson made and lost $10 million as quick as anybody I've ever seen. Luka's a ball hog, doesn't make anybody better, runs the clock down to make some crazy shot.
There we go.
Man, okay.
I don't want to overreact to like 5 or 7, maybe 8 messages, but we might have to get back to is Luka being underappreciated a little bit later in the show. It's starting to get to me a tiny bit. Some of this Luka hate that's coming in here, envisioning. So you want to pay Jalen Brunson $25 million, but you want to pick a Luka Doncic? You serious? You want to have a basketball discussion over that? You want to pay 25 to 30 million and then call Luka out for his defense and being a ball hog? This guy is putting on all world displays. All world displays offensively. I don't care about the turnovers, and I don't think Jason Kidd cares about the turnovers because J Kidd knows he's carrying everything. Everything. And I think he finally got worn down in the second half last night, but we're only in game 2. And I think he does need better conditioning, and he does need to be in better shape. When he mean mugged after what he did to Cam Johnson, a couple Tolos sent me a screenshot of like Luka's his belly while he was flexing, and people were like, he still needs a little better conditioning, which I agree with. But come on, man, let's be careful with the disrespect on this dude, because you do not want him getting ticked off and rolling out on us, because you will be picking top 3 every single year.